We know a couple of things about the running back position at this point based on research that's been done in the last few years. We know that running back success is more dictated by number of defenders in the box, offensive line play, scheme, play design, play calling than it is on the running back, although the running back does certainly matter. Mm-hmm. We know that receiving is more valuable than running. We know that receiving is the most valuable thing that running backs can do, but even then, targets are better served to tight ends and wide receivers than they are to running backs. We know that year-to-year performance isn't very steady for running backs. We know that the transition from college to the NFL is very smooth for running backs. You get a lot of year-one contributors at a high level at running back. But I want to ask you some questions, James. When in the last, 5 years have you thought, the Bengals didn't win that game because their running back didn't play well enough? Let's start there.
Well, it's not. That's so they sucked and then they became a pass first team. So it's tough. And
that includes two Burrow years.
Yeah. And then they became a pass first team. One Burrow year, they still sucked. And they were awful on the offensive line and won 2 games with him. So could we go this route? We could. But I also think that trench play wise, they're better there.
Sure.
They're going to see a ton of too high, and they weren't able to run the ball effectively enough to get teams out of that. And so there are better fits out there than what they currently have. And sure. So who is that? When is that? Right? Like, I don't think anyone debates they need to upgrade at that position.
Need is a strong word. I would say that it would be good to upgrade at running back. I don't know if it's critically important to the team's chances of winning a Super Bowl.
Sure, because you feel good about Joe Burrow. I get that. But you know what would make life easier on Joe Burrow? Not having to quarterback sneak it on 2nd and 1. It's the most embarrassing thing. They better not have to do that this year.
I don't think they have to. I think they like it.
They like it so they didn't have to be faced with 3rd and 1. Because they sucked in short yardage.
They like avoiding 3rd downs. It's good to get first downs when it's 2nd down, but you can get them other ways in QB sneaking. I don't like the 2nd down QB sneak.
You know what should happen on 2nd and 1? Every single 2nd and 1 for the rest of time with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Handing the ball to Bijan Robinson, of course.
A go ball, because Bijan Robinson can get you a yard every single time on 3rd and 1, and you know that.
I mean, that's obviously that's
of course, and you're not throwing a go ball every single time, but it would be nice to be confident in your short yardage game.
I'm not sure that adding,
and that's not why I would want Bijan Robinson, by the way, to upgrade their short yardage game. I would do that because everything the Bengals thought they were getting with Joe Mixon when they drafted him 48th overall and took all the heat they took. That's what I think Bijan Robinson could be. This complete 3-down back, which Joe has never been. This guy who could play a ton of snaps early on and not 60%. I mean, if you want to play him more, you'd be able to 70% and not leave the field on 3rd down and 4th down and all of those downs, critical downs against the Chiefs, for example. That's what I'm saying. And I think if you find a guy like that, a special running back talent, it does make a difference. If not, if we're talking about Tajay Spears versus Israel Abanikanda, I'm not going to feel as strong about it. But if you're passing on, even Jahmyr Gibbs, if you're passing on one of these top guys and waiting a couple of rounds, well, that could make a difference. Like if the Bengals had taken Alvin Kamara, how much better would he had fit in this offense? In a different world, I get it. It hasn't lined up. But if 2017 Alvin Kamara came into 2023 Cincinnati, that would be wild. It would be a perfect fit.
Jahmyr Gibbs is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying both fit, but you're telling me that guy wouldn't have an impact, right? Kamara 2017, of course he would. He would catch 85 passes and be rookie of the year.
I mean, there's an impact, and it looks great, but does it help you? Like, how much does it help you win games? How many more games do you win because you have Alvin Kamara instead of, I don't know, average running back, I guess Joe Mixon? Let's just say, how many more games do you win?
I mean, Joe Mixon isn't average. Let's not go crazy. He's still
last year.
Sure, but he's still He was last year. He's still slightly probably above average.
Probably. It just,
Caught
I
60
mean, most
balls.
of that is that he's been mostly healthy in his career. He had 1 year, of course, where injuries were bad for him, but he's been on the field a lot, and that really helps because running backs generally don't stay on the field. And him staying on the field has helped him be, for the most part, top 12 running back in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. And I think it makes the difference in imagine having a game-changing running back. The Bengals haven't had one of those since Corey Dillon, and they sucked when they had Corey Dillon. Rudy Johnson wasn't a game changer.
They've still gotten game-changing plays out of their running backs.
Jeremy Hill wasn't. Giovanni Bernard wasn't. And I thought Gio might be able to be, and he wasn't. Mm-hmm. Not consistently. And so that's the difference. I think the running back argument makes sense until you're talking about an alien. And so there might be an alien available at 28. So and if they don't think that, if they don't think he's an alien and they think he's just really good, all right, then I get not taking him.
I'm just still waiting for compelling evidence that an alien at running back actually helps you win Super Bowls in the modern NFL. I just don't see it.
This is like the argument 10 years ago when people said elite wide receivers didn't matter because Tom Brady didn't use them. And like that's what it is. Like, elite receivers don't matter. And I argued then it did. And
I'm not saying it doesn't matter.
But here's the thing with an elite running back. How many of them have gone to situations with good quarterbacks?
A lot. Because teams that think.
Who? Barkley, crappy quarterback. Dak was the best. Like Zeke got Dak a second deal. Like I know Dak's good, but that rookie year was Zeke carrying him a lot of it.
I mean, I guess I guess like freaks you're talking about, like Adrian Peterson.
It's just hard. And then they're paired with, it's like Corey Dillon. He was paired with awful QB play, and I'm going way
like
back.
Alvin Kamara played with Drew Brees.
And they were really good. They should have went to the Super Bowl.
But
Sean Payton's an idiot.
Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees, the Hall of Fame.
So there you go. And they were successful. And that was the end of Brees, but they were still successful.
But Mark Ingram is still like a huge part of their game. I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for evidence.
Maybe he shouldn't have been.
Probably shouldn't have. He was very efficient, though. The bottom line kind of comes down to the running back position. If you think running back is valuable in a game-changing position that can help you win football games, and you probably want to upgrade the position, right? If you think that running back is not very important in helping you win football games, you probably don't want to invest as highly there.
Would Marshall Faulk be worth it at 28?
I mean, that's like Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey would be worth the 28th pick if he's healthy. Of course,
probably.
He's got injury issues, but if you're getting rookie Christian McCaffrey at 28, oh my God, like unbelievable. Like it would be. So there are certain guys that are exceptions. I guess that's where we're. And so is Bijan an exception or not? It's up for the Bengals to decide.
I don't know. I don't know how good you have to be an exception for me. Like it has to be like Barry Sanders level stuff, like so much creation on your own. And maybe Bijan does that, but it's just so hard in the NFL to be that guy because of all the evidence we have. Wide receivers we know can create on their own. We know like we know about separation. We know about contested catchability, all these things that wide receivers do on their own. With running backs, so much of their game is and their output is controlled by factors that they don't control. And that's what continues to make it hard for me to want to commit big resources to a running back.
The Bengals have done it time and time again, though.
Second round picks.
28th and 38th.
I know you keep saying that. It's about opportunity costs. Like I said, there's a world where there's nobody else that is like compelling enough for me to pass on Bijan Robinson. But
yeah, like saying first round versus second, like first round's really edgy. Like saying it that way. It's the 28th pick.
It's the gap in the picks, though. It's if you take a running back at 28, you're going to have whatever other position we're considering is no longer very attractive at 60, most likely.
Sure. And would you have rather take a tackle that you don't fully believe in that ends up being Cedric Ogbuehi or?
Well, I mean, if you put it that way, of course you don't want Cedric Ogbuehi.
But so the point, you got to get the player right, which goes back to,
course, yes.
Which goes back to if Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, watch them take Jahmyr Gibbs 28th, is an
Perry
alien.
2.0.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
If they take him over Bijan?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I don't think Bijan's necessarily going to be there either.
Okay, I thought you were saying if they took Gibbs instead of Bijan Robinson.
But, yeah, that would be – now, watch it. He could end up being better. But, yeah, that part would be interesting, right? But I think there's value there. I think it's amongst the elite. So, like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, right? The running back version, we're going to see some of those guys. And they're going to fall to quarterbacks with good teams. And the Chiefs, they might not have picked the right guy with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and everyone uses that. Okay, well, Bijan Robinson isn't Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I think that's the part of it where if Saquon Barkley fell to 28 and he was a rookie, I think he'd be a game changer for this team. And that Bijan Robinson might be as good or better.
There's a lot to it. I honestly, I trust the Bengals coaching staff. I think any coaching staff in the NFL, when they have a shiny first-round running back, the temptation to hand him the ball on 2nd and 1 grows, which is also fine, I guess, because you get a first down most of the time there. But,
play action.
2nd and 10 runs.
T. Higgins
didn't
is
like
deep.
those before.
5 is wide open. Burrow hits him in
running
stride.
backs have nothing to do with play action being successful.
I'm not saying it necessarily does, but it would help them play action wise if they could actually run the ball effectively week in and week out.
A little bit. But again, lots of evidence that says running doesn't have much to do with play action, although teams really didn't buy the Bengals.
Let's throw
action,
it
so
every time.
problem.
Every time.
No one's saying that.
Okay. So I would rather hand it to Bijan Robinson than, as much as I like Israel Abanikanda.
It's an opportunity cost conversation. We have gone really long on this conversation. Let us know what you think about the value of running backs. Present me with evidence that explains why Bijan Robinson and investing in an elite running back would make the Bengals win more games.
You know what's going to be funny? When he breaks the rookie rushing record for the Bengals at Paycor. Not for the Bengals, like the rookie rushing record in a Bengals uniform at Paycor. And you have to woo afterwards.